you?
What's up, Miss Dragons?
How are you?
I'm doing good. How are you?
Happy first day of August.
Happy first day of August to you as well.
Do you remember being a kid and it's the first day of August and you're like, I don't want to go back to school?
Yeah, yeah. No, that was me just every day of the year.
No, don't.
I was there yesterday. I don't want to go back today. I was there a month ago. I don't want to go back next month. All of it.
No. Okay, so please introduce us to who you are for those people who don't know who you are.
Sure. My name is Sin. I'm a spoken word artist from Fort Worth, Texas. I also host an open mic virtually on Tuesday nights and maybe virtually and in person sometime soon. Um, my claim to fame is writing a bunch of like really sad poems about, poor me, about a breakup, and that's yeah. I mean, that's all there really is to know.
Wait, they're all surrounding a breakup as well?
What? Oh, there's an old project I have that was like my first like real project that I put out. That was just like a bunch of like woe is me poems about a breakup a few years ago.
Okay, so I did have some questions that I submitted to you, but I do want to do a tangent if you don't mind.
I'm all about tangents. Tangents are my shit. Tangent away.
So you're one of the very few people I know who, like me, trying to establish a reputation online and simultaneously and in person. Do you find that your behavior is inconsistent, or do you find that you have to like play up sometimes? If that sentence makes sense.
I'm really lazy. I'm really, really lazy. So I'm going to preface all of this with this. So when you submitted the questions to me, you said, Sin, here are your questions. And I said, don't expect anything like really prepared because I'm just going to wing it. And the reason I do that is not to be like an asshole. It's just that like, I like when I started hosting, I knew that I'd have to be myself because it's the only act I can keep up. I'm just too lazy to keep up a like an act. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I just show up and be me. So you get me here, you get me in person. I forget shit. I drop words. I curse a lot. I'm scatterbrained. I just that was like my simple way of like keeping it simple and easy and not having to do too much work, if that makes sense.
That makes a lot of sense. That makes a lot of sense. Oh, okay. That's you don't know how much you don't realize how much advice you just gave me. Okay. Um so what got you started doing the open mics online?
COVID. I was already doing this open mic in person. I had been going there since I was 18-ish, and I'd been performing there for a few years, and then COVID hit. And I remember texting the bookstore because it's their open mic. I just host it. I texted the bookstore and said, "What do you guys want to do about this COVID thing? Like, should we maybe take a couple weeks off because it's a whole virus and things going around, getting crazy?" And this is before like everything really shut. This is like a few days before everything really shut down, and they were like, "I don't know. Like, what do you think we should do?" And I was like, "I don't know. It just seems like a thing." And then they kind of like I guess went and Googled on it or something. Or a few days later, they hit me up and they're like, "Yeah, we're gonna have to postpone it until further notice and just like wait this out." And then a few weeks into it, I was like, "Oh, okay, we're gonna be waiting this out for a while. Like, let me jump on Instagram or something and do it there, just same time and just fuck around and hang out." And so since then, we've just been doing it on Instagram every week for like over a year now that we've been in this pandemic, which is wild.
Yeah, yeah. It's weird. So do you think that this is the future of poetry, people doing things online versus going to open mics in clubs and in libraries, etc.?
I don't know that it's. I think the future will include this. I don't know that this is like the whole future of it. I think there's still like a lot of space for in-person open mics and people hanging out in real IRL in real life, as you say. I do think though that there's gonna be like just like there's people who would prefer to go to a bar or a bookshop or earlier in the evening or later at night. I think there's gonna be people that like a community of like online poets that maybe gravitate more towards this platform than and we don't ever see them out and about, and there's still people that never came on Instagram live that I used to see every week at the bookshop, and I'm pretty sure I'm going to see them when we get back to the bookshop. I think there's going to be people that go to both, and there's going to be people that just kind of stick to their own camps.
Why is your name Sin?
Why is my name Sin? So I grew up going to not so optional church every Sunday, as one does. And I used to just see people be very like high and mighty as a kid, and I didn't like it, like because people were still like humans and they did shitty things, but they were just really high and mighty about it. And I used to ask a lot of questions, and like the answer would always be like, "Don't question God," which I thought was a stupid fucking answer. And and so I was just kind of always like, I just didn't like to listen. And I was like, when I got into poetry, I remember seeing a lot of people who did poems at the time about like, I don't know if you've ever heard poets do poems from this perspective of like preachiness, like um, a true man should be like this, or like they kind of imply that they have achieved this like perfect character and enlightenment, and they're just like preaching down to you mere humans. Like, so I don't, I kind of saw that, and I wanted to just write like honestly, about like shitty things. And I also like what I used to call it was like, if we're all born sinners and we all die sinners and no one ever achieves holiness, then like every single day we're in sin. So the only way to be like honest is to call yourself sin.
Oh my God. Oh, I'm definitely putting that in the clip. Oh my God. Okay, okay, okay. Why are you always in your car?
Because I live with my family and I don't want to like be making noise while they're all walking around and shit, or they have a habit of like, if I'm in the house they'll decide they need something. So it's just like an easy distraction free environment to be in the car. It's not, they're just like, my sister has a habit of just barging in my room like, hey, I'm here now.
My mom does the same thing. I don't know if you've noticed. Like, I keep looking back because I can hear her back there, and I'm like, please don't open the door, please. And like, even when I lock it, she knocks, and she's like, "Are you in there?" I'm like, I'm in here.
Yeah, they do it while I'm at work too. They're like, "Are you busy?" I'm like, "Yes." Actually, I'm at my job.
Yeah. um, what is rap?
Rap. I saw this one. So, rap, rap in the context that I think you're asking it is when I put out a project called And Poetry, which is supposed to be rap without the R, because rap is, I had heard and understood for a long time that a lot of people say it's like stands for rhythm and poetry. And I had done a project that was me rapping essentially. I felt like, but didn't have any music behind it, so it was like missing that an element. So I figured it could be best described as and poetry almost. And so that's how I see it. And I'm also like named it, or I also go with that because I really kind of like want to do both a little bit. I want to see if I can make my way into music somehow, sometime near in the future. But
Because you do rap a lot in your poetry.
hmm
I think it's very for lack of better words, it's very musical. I think that a lot of present tense rap is losing its musicality. Like like I was pointing out to someone the other day that there's a certain tempo that we hear that's comforting to us, you know,
mm,
and we call that good music. So everyone's following the same tempo, but it's for those of us who are older, not calling you old, I'm old. For those of you who are older, we're like we've heard the same pattern. So can you be a real artist? Or are you just being a mimic of a mimic of a mimic? That was tangent. Sorry. Um, in
nothing
conclusion,
wrong
I'd
with
say that
tangents. Just
what you're doing is very musical. I really enjoy listening to it because it was very startling to my ear.
okay. That's a really good. That's a very unique compliment. I'll take it. Startling to the ear.
Oh, sorry. I'm so,
Your ear just went
um,
whoa.
were slash are you a good or bad student?
I was terrible. I was horrible. I was the worst.
Why?
I was good up until like maybe third grade, and then I just went to
Third
shit.
grade. That's like the. What happened?
It was kind of a repeat of the church thing. I just didn't. I couldn't just like play along. It was like, why am I doing this? Because we said so. But like, who are you? Like, and why do I? It was like that whole like that was it. I just couldn't bring. I didn't have a reason to care or to work hard at it, and so I didn't. I didn't want to be there. I didn't like that I had to be somewhere I didn't want to be all day. I just didn't jive with any of it. The rigidity, the bureaucracy of it, none of that. So I just didn't do it.
That's so funny. Um, so talk about what's past the mic.
Pass the mic. I think this is in reference to I had done. Well, hold on, let me ask before I just because I don't know if I have ever called something past the mic more than once. But was it in reference to that post from like that school or something?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so pass the mic was my way of coming up with a funny name for. I had a college that booked me to do a poetry show and an open mic. So pass the mic was just the open mic portion of it because I didn't want to put this open mic's name on it. And I didn't just want to call it like open mic. It was like, too generic. So I just made up like pass the mic. Also because I'd spoken to an agent who used to book a lot of poets on the college market, and he was like, everybody does a fucking open mic. I was like, shit. So I got to like think of a creative name for it to give it like a spin and make it sound like it's something that's, more unique than just an open mic. So that's where that name came from. I was trying to like pitch them on an open mic, but not like sound like I'm offering the same thing every other poet's offering, even though I am. But yeah.
Are you going to continue doing that post COVID with this new school year?
If they book me for something virtual, I'll take it. I actually am not so to book colleges, you gotta like go to these conferences and stuff and follow up with people. And I'm like personally self-representing is not what I'm gonna continue to do. And so if I don't get like aligned with somebody, like an agent or somebody, then I'm just not gonna be pursuing that market for the time being. But if schools that I've worked with in the past call me or I get lined up with somebody who gives me gigs, then if they want to do virtual, I'll do virtual. If they want me to do in person, I'll mask up and go do a show in person. I mean, virtual is cool because you get some money. You just go up the street and do a show. Get like I'll book like a photography studio or something, hook up to their Wi-Fi, and I have a laptop I can do a virtual show with, and then just go straight back home. Like it's great. It's like it's stupid easy money to do it that way. Otherwise, I'm like having to drive way the hell out to bumblefuck middle of nowhere.
So I like to always ask this question from people's perspective this past year. What is COVID like in Texas? And then also, were you hit by the snowstorm too?
COVID. Okay, so I'm an introverted person, and I've told people that, and they're like, "No, the fuck you're not." I am. I'm just an introverted person who can be like sociable, but I like much of my life didn't change. I like lost my job, um, but I already spent most of my time at home or like doing things on my own anyway. And like I live with my family, so I don't have that like loneliness component that a lot of people got. So my life didn't change very much except I was just wearing a mask most places. And I haven't minded it. There's a lot of people who are like not wearing a mask to make a point in Texas, but I haven't had the experience of anybody being like really in my face about wanting me to wear like not wear one or something. They kind of just like I'm gonna be not wear a mask guy because I don't believe in this stuff, but they don't get all in your face about it. So it's been chill. Um, I, I've heard a lot of people like it's so funny because I either hear people be extremely cautious about it or people be like completely disregarding it. Like the company I was working for, the like second highest person up in the company was like sending us a memo about it, talking about how it was just like the common cold. Like that's the most Texas shit you could go through. Like he was like, yeah, no, it's just like the common cold, which that kills way more people. Ever like in an official company memo about this shit. I was like, what's wrong with you, man? Um, the work I was doing. I was doing deliveries of like materials and stuff to like a bunch of apartment complexes and stuff at the time. So I was like super high risk essential worker for like a month or two, and then I got fired. So I was like, oh well, hell, my life just got a lot safer. That's cool. Um, and then the cold front, we got hit by it. Luckily, we didn't lose power for too much of it, and we lost power for like a day. But we have my dad works in construction, so we have a welder, and we just like pulling power from that. So we were fine. It was like stupid cold. I think I went to the store and I walked up to the corner of the street to this gas station, and in that walk to get up there and get back, I was like, freeze! I was like, fuck, it's cold. It's like real life cold. It's like cold, cold.
That's so funny. What fictional world would you like to visit and why?
Fictional world. I should have thought about this one more. I should have like.
The first one that came to your mind. I feel like I know what you're gonna say though.
See, now I want to say something that you don't think I'm gonna say. God, I don't know. So many of them, like, there's some that seem really badass, but also like, are very frightening. So I don't know if I'd be like good there. Like I think Narcos would be interesting, but Narcos is also like a very dangerous fictional. It's not even a fictional world. It's based on historical events, so that doesn't count. Rick and
Yeah,
Morty, I guess, would be the fictional world. I have to like it's my only guess
that's
that
so
comes to the top of my
chaotic.
mind.
That would be so inconsistent though. You wouldn't know what like where you were at any
I
time.
know. I know. Well, that's the whole point of the show. It's like there's just like so much different shit. Like I could just sit on the couch and watch interdimensional cable or something. I think that'd be fucking hilarious.
I thought you were gonna say Pandora, like Avatar.
Like the Avatar. No, I don't even think I've ever seen the Avatar.
You've never seen Avatar?
I think I
It's
saw the show once or twice when I was a kid, but I don't think I've ever seen the movie.
that's like it's like 10 years old.
I know. I never got around to it.
um, um, The Wolf of Poetry.
A Wolf of Poetry.
I have more trust issues than the government. Elaborate on that line, please.
I like didn't remember all of your questions, but as you're saying them, I remember them.
You've never seen
um,
Avatar either, Cynical? Oh my gosh, girl, girl.
Sin and Sin haven't seen it. Um, okay, so the lines after that are what is it? Sign a treaty and fly a satellite at the same damn time. And so that came from a book I was reading. I'm still reading. I need to finish called Accessory to War by Neil deGrasse Tyson. Is it? Or yeah, Accessory to War, I think, by Neil deGrasse Tyson. He talks about basically the intersection of like science and the military. And so there's a story he tells in there about there being like a treaty regarding nuclear weapons or something. And like the day after that U.S. signs the treaty, they're like flying satellites to make sure the countries they signed the treaty with aren't creating nuclear weapons anyway, because their policy is trust but verify. So that's where that came from. More trust issues in the government.
Is that true?
Hmm.
Why would? Wow, that's interesting. Why do you feel safe with the smell of cigarettes?
Safe with the smell of cigarettes. That is from my irrational fear of losing my mind. I grew up with my dad's whole side of the family, my grandma, my uncles, all my dad's friends, smoking all the time. So basically, like all the people who like kept me safe as a kid smoked. So like by weird association, like I like will smell cigarettes, and I don't know if it's only. I think it's only the same ones that my dad used to smoke and my grandma. But when I smell that, it like has like a back wiring trigger to my childhood, and it like reminds me of like safe and sound memories, which is a really fucked up association to have, but it's there. I noticed I was like waiting outside a line, I think at Home Depot once, and like this dude was smoking a cigarette, and I was like, this reminds me of like hanging out with my grandma. That's weird.
Yeah,
I feel I feel great right now. I feel like I am in good company. That's fucked up.
I don't know if I can't. It's not comparable, but I feel that way with the smell of breakfast. My
Mm.
my grandmothers would always cook like a huge, massive breakfast, bacon, eggs, super basic stuff. So I find that both my grandmothers passed this past year, not because of COVID, just because they were old. You know, old people die. Like I know that, but I find that I crave the smell of breakfast, but I don't want to eat it.
That makes sense.
Yeah.
Yeah, my grandma used to make like homemade pizzas for us, and
Ooh.
my mom asked me after she passed if I wanted her to make them. I was like, no. Like I would never eat. Like it was just like our thing. So like I'm cool
Yeah.
with that being in the past.
Yeah. Yeah. Oh, okay. So I'm not crazy.
No, 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 no,
Well,
no.
unless you're
Or either that
crazy.
or we're both crazy.
Yeah. Okay. That's fine. Okay. So where can we like you, stalk you, and all that fun stuff?
Um, all social media at Sin Spoken Word, SIN Spoken Word, and my website is sinspokenword.com. You can hit me up, or you can sign up for my email list on my website. I send out a series of emails when you first sign up, telling you about a bunch of my poems and other artists I like and stuff like that. And then I email you once a month with updates on what I'm up to. So that's always a really good way to keep in touch with me and not leave it at Instagram's hands whether or not you see my content. But yeah, outside of that, the Doc open mic Tuesday nights at 8 Central. That's where I'm hanging out too.
Yes, yes, yes. And then final question. Would you rather lose your sight or your memories?
Oh yeah. Okay. I think I thought about this one just a little bit more. And I felt like my first reaction was to say my sight. Or no, my first reaction was to say my memories because I can make new memories with my sight a lot better. But then I thought like, what would be the implications of losing my memories? And I figured like I would probably like lose all sense of who I was if I lost my memories,
Mm.
right? Because like that's what it's like. If not, you just wake up and you're just like blank hard drive up here. You're just like, what the fuck? Where am I? What is this? So I was like, that doesn't sound fun, even if I could see. So I think I would go with my sight because then I still got four senses left. I got all my back memories, you know. So I got like old tapes I can watch. So I guess long answer, um, long way of answering. I think I'd go with my sight.
Can I ask one more last question, a selfish question?
Yeah, ask as many questions as you want. We're not in a business meeting. Like I'm not late to anything. You don't have to run through them. I'm chilling.
No,
Like I don't have
no.
anywhere to be.
Because like I've read a couple of my pieces on your open mics, and how do you stop thinking that you suck?
Oh, I'm not the person to answer this question. I
No,
think I suck all the time.
no.
um, it's so funny because I go back and forth so much. Like I have shit I should have put out a long time ago, and I go from like loving it to hating it.
Yeah.
Um, I think some of the stuff that helps me is I know of artists that is maybe a weird way to motivate yourself, but I know of artists that have like made it, quote unquote, who I know I can write better than them. So I'm like, if you can suck and make it, then I can make it. Right? If like the bar is that low. And then secondly, I have artists that like I really, really, really fuck with, and I'm one of those obsessive people that doesn't do anything like 10%. Like I'm like, if I like an artist, I'm gonna go listen to the entire catalog that I can find. Right? And I did that recently with an artist I grew up like loving, and there's like he's put out a shit like 13 albums or some crazy shit like that. And I only like but I really like 20 of his songs, and the rest of them I could kind of like go either way on. Some of them I thought kind of sucked. And so when I look at it in that perspective, I'm like, they all can't be like smash hits. You know, you just kind of got to put that shit out there. And even if somebody only likes every 10th thing you put out, they could still be a fan of you, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
Um, yeah, I listen to a lot of like mainstream shit too, and like a lot of shit that has like a lot of success, and the writing is not that intricate. I listen to like I really like really simple songs that are really good, and the writing isn't that difficult. It's just like really honest, but it's like super simple fucking lyrics. But the way that they're delivered and like the music and everything makes them more potent than if you read them off paper. So I guess that's how I do it. I just compare my. I'm like, well, shit, if they can do it, and they suck. I'm at least better than these fuckers.
You're gonna I'm gonna think that the rest of the day now while I'm at work. Be like, if you can do it, I can do it.
That's literally like all it is. I mean, because it's not like only like film, like movies. Oh shit. Well, yeah, this is more your territory than mine. But like movies, I think to myself, I'm like the mass market fan. Like I'm like the lowest common denominator fan of movies. I'm not the person that like people who are really into film make movies for. People who are really into film scoff at the kind of movies I like. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
They're
yeah.
just like, that's disgusting. That whatever. This has been overdone to hell. You know, this is fucking trope and shit. That reminds me of BoJack Horseman a lot. But nonetheless, me and like a shit ton of people like love these movies. And fans of cinema and film are not like there's not enough of them for you to have a profitable career. You know what I mean? Like if you only make art for like the really like snobby people who are really into a thing, you're gonna be broke. You're gonna be broke. You're gonna be popular with snobby people, but you're gonna be broke. So also thinking about it that way, pleasing most people isn't that hard because they're not analyzing it as deep as you or as most or as other snobby people. Um, yeah, I mean, and also like anything that you have that you hate, you've probably heard a million times. Everybody else is hearing it for the first time, and they're just not hearing it to analyze it. They're hearing it to consume it. So
Oh,
that's my thought process on it.
okay. You ease so much anxiety just now. I don't think you realize it.
Well, I'm glad. I hope I helped. I know that wasn't like the intrinsic self-worth motivational speech that I could have given.
You're supposed to say, go get it and grind hard and all that stuff, whatever. Thank
Yeah,
you
like I'm
so
supposed to
much.
say, you're valid and great just the way you are, but which is also true. But
I don't think
there's
so.
also like,
I think that's the worst advice you can give someone. The
you
worst
think
advice you
so?
can give someone is that you're fine the way that you are. You're not. You're like not and not in a like in a good way and a bad way, because like if you're not fine the way that you are, that means you can only go up from here. So keep going
Hmm.
up. But like
Hmm.
don't get so like an Olympian where you like give yourself a stroke on the way to the top, you know?
That's true. Well, see, I don't think you have to hate yourself to want to
No, no,
improve
definitely
yourself.
not. No, definitely not. No, no. I'm sure like these Olympians don't hate themselves, but like I've been watching the Olympics very heavily the past couple of weeks. And like I love watching their handshake. I don't know why, but watching their handshakes and then watching them land it perfectly, I'm like, you did it. So why did you doubt yourself?
That's another reason that I'm able to think I'm okay and decent because a poet that I looked up to, I watched him have like damn near a full nervous breakdown before a slam, and then still go
Oh,
on stage and fucking wreck it.
yeah.
And I was like,
Oh, oh
if
my
this
God.
dude that's such a fucking legend is like losing his shit backstage and then still going out there and killing it, like, you know what I mean? Like, then shit, I can get pretty good, even if
As
I
an
still
actor,
think,
I've seen actors, including myself, throw up backstage, and then we go on stage and like get a big laugh, and we walk back on them like that was terrible. I sucked. I suck. And it's like, why do we do that? Why do we do that? But okay, thank you so much for this. This was highly encouraging. I'm probably going to rewatch this several times to remind myself that I don't suck.
yeah, no, absolutely. You have to, it's like, it's relative, man. And I'm always happy to talk. Like I said, I'm not late for anything, so you don't have to like machine gun through the questions. I'm chilling. We're good. So,
Well, I do have to go because I have to go work for the man. Ironically, because my entire management is men, so that's fun. I like
well,
it.
I
I
hope,
like it. I like working for men. That sounds bad, but I like working for men.
that's a whole other conversation, and I don't want to make you late. But I'm sure I'll see a video about it because you're always doing content. I'm sure I'll see you explain it in a video, and that'll be the big clickbaity headline. I like working for men.
That is a good idea. I'm gonna write that down. Thank you, Sin. And bye, Cynical. I'll talk to you later, okay?
All right. See you later, Miss Dragons. I'll talk to you soon.
Bye.